Doc Loves the Kids, a local Kitsap County nonprofit organization established in 2015, whose mission is to provide activities, programs, and community support for at-risk youth.
They put the U in community.
Doc Loves the Kids.
Welcome to Uncommon Courtesy.
We give you the courtesy of conversation
That's uncommonly spoke of.
I'm D-Mac.
I'm Wesley.
And this is the show. Don't forget to like, listen, subscribe. Thanks to everybody that checks us out every week, every day. We put stuff out. Don't forget our Friday Fix every 7 p.m. every Friday. Live Town Hall 1 p.m.
Every Sunday,
both Pacific times.
I mean, we only talk politics on our town hall, but on Friday Night Fix, man, we talking life. We're gonna start bringing in some guests. So, you guys, if you guys want to be guests on our Friday Night Fix, let us know. We can talk about pretty much anything.
Anything
you know what I mean?
Want. And we're gonna talk about it too.
We're gonna talk about it, but let's talk about this.
There are no rules.
Definitely. Let's talk about this story today out of South Korea. South Korea lifts president's martial law. Lawmakers reject military rule. The president of South Korea early Wednesday lifted the martial law he imposed on the country hours earlier, bending to political pressure after a tense night in which troops surrounded parliament and lawmakers voted to reject military rule. President Yoon Suk Yeol, who appeared likely to be impeached over his actions, imposed martial law late Tuesday out of frustration with the opposition, vowing to eliminate anti-state forces as he struggles against opponents who control parliament and that he accuses of sympathizing with communist North Korea. Police and military personnel were seen leaving the grounds of parliament following the bipartisan vote to overrule the president, and the declaration was formally lifted around 4:30 a.m. during a cabinet meeting. Parliament acted swiftly after martial law was imposed, with National Assembly Speaker Shik declaring the law was invalid and the lawmakers would protect democracy with the people. This was a pretty tense scene.
They acted quickly, and there were still a lot of people in power that were able to stop it. But I mean, when they do that over here on January 21st, you know, it's gonna be a sight to see, because that's what's happening. Yeah,
I feel like, I mean, this was the reasoning he gave. You know, I'm gonna kind of like just glaze over the reasoning a little bit, not really make in-depth point about it, but the best I can see, most of it is due to the fact that 2/3 of their parliament is, let's say it's more of a conservative branch of the parliament. They're more, he's saying they're sympathizers with North Korea in that branch. They're probably looking to not be as cozy with the West as they have been. He's not able to get a lot of his agenda passed. South Korea is a kind of a special place right now because South Korea is one of the largest economies in the world. At the same time, they have one of the if not the largest birth rate decline out of any country. They're looked at as being, in the future, there won't be a South Korea. They're called like a disappearing country. I mean, so and at the same time, they have more, like per every 10,000 workers, they have like 1,000 robots, which is like unheard of. Like they're like the highest in robots per workers because they don't have enough people of like working age to be able to fill the jobs that need to be filled in South Korea. So by him, what he basically did was something that was so out of the ordinary for a democracy, for a country that goes to the polls and votes. He basically said it was because of the people that you guys put in office, and I can't work with them, I'm going to call martial law now because I feel like they're communists. I feel like they're, whatever he wants to call them, and say that since they're not agreeing with him or helping to work with him, he called martial law and brought troops into the parliament.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
I see Donald Trump doing that on day one. He was like, hey, he already, how you going to send a message like that out to people on Thanksgiving? He's like, happy Thanksgiving to everybody, except for the lunatic radical left. I mean, if you were to look at this from any perspective, the reason I feel like he backed down was not only because the people came, were at the gates and the parliament with a bipartisan vote. That means the people who were not in power. 190, everyone voted to stop martial law.
Because but when you look at it from this perspective, okay, when democratic countries fight against dictatorships, they fight against anything that's not communism. They fight against any of these type of governments, socialist governments sometimes, but sometimes they're a part of the other side as well. But they fight against those things because they want to be seen as the right way of doing business. Because if a dictatorship is looking like it's being successful and the people are eating and they're living good under that dictatorship, people may call for that. But if on the flip side of that, if people are living good under a democracy and things look like they're going well, people are going to call for that. Look at like the Arab Spring that they had in 2011. That's why so many dictatorships and also rules by kings and things of that nature were being overthrown at that time. But with him doing this, it gives democracy a really bad kind of like taste in their mouth. Because if something doesn't go your way, you're pretty much saying that throw democracy out the window, and now we're going to head straight to martial law. Who else does that?
Us.
A dictator.
We're about to do it.
You know what I mean? A dictator. And so to me, this was almost like a test run to see if this will work. It didn't work because he didn't have any true enemy to point at. In our country, we kind of have an enemy that we've all been pointing at lately, which is immigrants. So a person can say
minorities and Democrats,
you know, and so a person
and liberals
he can come in and, yeah, say it again.
The liberal and the woke.
Yeah, and so he can come in and say, we're going to weed these people out of our government. So I need this type of power. We're going to get rid of these people out of our country. So I need to do this because these governments are not willing to work with me. Say like California chooses not to let the federal government send troops in. Oh, well, we need to call martial law because this is what's happening here. And I need this law. And once you do it one time, it's never happened in this country. And it's against the law, actually, for a person to send troops into the streets here. And so once it happens once, we become kind of almost, it becomes a normal thing.
And it won't stop. That's the whole thing. People, you think they're going to call martial law, round him up after a month or two, it'll be done? Nah, because now he has martial law. He has all the troops in the streets. He can do whatever he wants.
And the troops have gotten to a point to where they're comfortable dictating what the people in this country do. They've never done that before. Imagine that they're comfortable now. So now when he wants to do it again for another reason, like you said,
already there.
It's already there. It's already happened one time. It's already it's already normal to us to drive and have blockades where, like you said before, where now they're blocked. Okay, it's a blockade here. What they're doing is it's just a checkpoint. They're checking each vehicle for this. It's normalized to us now.
I'm saying what we need to do, if it gets too wild, people need to start blowing up those forensic buildings. Then we can get back to the 90s where we could be free spirited and do what we want to do.
And you know, and
in the streets.
at the same time, these same people who were very much against mask wearing people standing 6 feet apart, they're going to be all for blockades, warrantless searches of people's homes, warrantless, basically detaining people without real probable cause. You know, they're going to be fine with that.
Well,
but you're laughing about a mask.
They're going to come to their house because everyone's suspect. You could say, hey, you could vote for Donald Trump and you can see what he's doing and say it's wrong. And you can start hiding immigrants in your home. Well, as soon as they catch one person doing it, now everyone's guilty of it. So they got to make sure they go through everyone's house. Once everyone starts getting violated, they're going to be like, damn, this is what I voted for. I'm like, yes.
I don't feel like they're going to dictatorship. I don't feel like they're going to violate people who look like them. I don't. I feel like that's going to be, I mean, there will be some, of course, because it's going to happen. Just like during, when over in Nazi Germany, some Germans hid Jewish people in their homes. That happens. It's going to happen. Just like during the Underground Railroad, some white people helped black people along the Underground Railroad. It's going to happen. So there will be cases. But overall, they're not going to pull over someone named Zach or something like that and say, oh, we think that you're an immigrant. Show me your paperwork. Or let's go into Zach's house over there.
No, they were like, Zach, show us your Facebook. Show us your friends list. Like, yep, nope. Zach got too many colored friends on here.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, why not? Everything's on social media. That's how they catch the rappers. They caught the one dude the other day. He was on there with a switch. Had 70 views. 70 people came in to see him with the switch. He got 10 years. And
so the biggest thing with this right here is, to me, like it was shut down immediately. But to look at South Korea, I mean, and knowing who their neighbor to the north is, and knowing that the one thing that they had going for themselves was that they were a democracy. They let the people vote, and they actually have a really, really good economy. They have a strong economy. People make a lot of good money there for that region. And so it's to me, it's like that's a stain on their democracy right there. That president is probably going to be impeached and thrown out of office. I mean, it just makes perfect. You're going to try and basically pull I'm king.
He's going to do it again. If you don't take him out, they said he has to accept that they got rid of martial law, or they're going to say that he's illegitimate and get rid of him. That's what it says in the articles.
He got rid of it, but the biggest thing is like now they're going to go and the people are going to want him gone.
Yeah, no,
I can't trust you.
A way around it.
I can't trust you. But the point of it to me is, will we go for that? Was that something that we're going to be okay with?
Oh yeah, of course.
I think so too, man.
I first think about it, they laid down and let all this happen. So
I think so too. I think the majority of people who voted for this person they're going to be super fine. They're good with it. They're damn near will let him be king. They have no problem with that.
Well, no, they will at first because to them, they're listening. When you're lied and fed, when you're fed a bunch of lies throughout your media, you're gonna believe all that stuff. You see, one white girl got killed by an immigrant brutally. Yeah, it's a horrible thing, right? Mm-hmm. But we Americans kill our own. But you're using this one person out of 20 million. You're using 100,000 people out of 20 million. I mean, that's what they do to black folks. Now, when it starts affecting their pocketbooks, when it starts affecting their food, when the programs that they like to watch can't air anymore on TV, when you're because you're not uncomfortable. There's a lot of people in America. The only time you're uncomfortable is when you put something on to make you uncomfortable. You put on a channel, now you're uncomfortable because you're watching this. You're online, you're reading some articles, that's making you uncomfortable. But you turn that off, your day's fine. Once your day-to-day stops being normal, then you'll realize what you've done to yourself. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Like I said, I want to say one more time, I believe that this was I won't say it was intentional, but it was a test run. This was a test run to see how these type of things will play out in a democracy. In a strong democracy. We're not talking about a weak one that just, a new democracy. We're not talking about one that is impoverished democracy. We're talking about a strong democracy, and I think this was just a test run for what's to come.
Well, see, Donald Trump can just get up on, hey, I'm enacting martial law. Report to your local, we're going to have these bases open and we're going to get people and you can help us get rid of the migrants. And people will sign up because they're going to get paid. Speaking of getting paid, Missouri lawmakers